It's like, oh, sorry, bank went under.
Yeah.
You get the commercial building for free.
Oh, was that an option in Monopoly? Was that like a card you would
Yeah.
draw? Like,
Yeah.
oh, bank went under. You get to keep your property.
What's going on? We are coming at you from the iBuyer experiment. I'm here with Jason and Kayla. You guys know them. I probably don't need to introduce them because they are legends in the real estate space, and we love coming at you guys every
famous.
single week with the iBuyer experiment. So, as always, we got some topics to talk about. What's cracking, crew?
Oh, what is cracking in the real estate industry? Well, Elon Musk is warning of a housing market meltdown.
Yes. Well, in truth be told, Kayla yelled at me because I brought this up as a topic, and she's like,
is
dude, that's
old.
got dust on it.
That's good.
I'm like,
It's like
That
a
was
whole
May. That was in May.
I know
whole
it's like
3
a
weeks old.
whole 3 weeks old. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm, dated over here. But with that said, Elon has made a statement that, I mean, we all know the commercial space is changing for obvious reasons. Just the need for space has dramatically changed. But then he also said that the residential bubble is going to burst.
Yes. So
The residential burst is going to bubble.
I think it was via a retweet. Elon retweeted somebody talking about the commercial housing meltdown or commercial real estate meltdown and said that home values are next.
But isn't he building a bunch of houses in Austin though?
He is. So in Austin, Texas.
But he bought Twitter
Long term.
too, though. So
yeah.
and it's like worth half as much as what he bought it for.
But he's building them for
his legacy.
his company.
For his company,
really,
yeah.
for his employees. He said that
Yeah,
he
I
wants.
wonder-
Do you think he just gives them to the employee?
No.
Like here's a house.
I don't think so.
Sells them for a profit.
Yes,
Okay.
I would imagine.
Or a key
Well,
employee.
that's
He
fine.
uses that as a recruiting tool. But I promise you, he makes money off of it.
Oh.
One way or another,
Yeah.
he makes money off.
And I
I
don't
wonder if
think
he rents them or if he sells them.
I don't think they're built yet. I
Is
think
it like it's because I heard it's like a build to rent.
it's
community,
D.R.
right?
Horton.
Oh, yeah.
But
I believe.
let's also talk about one thing, right? Like Warren Buffett, any noted financial great mind of our times talks about a lot of times the cycles. And if you're holding real estate for any duration of time, it's going to make you money, right? With 99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is a lot of times you're going to only get caught in that sometimes short-term flip where you overpay for a property and didn't foresee some shift coming.
Well, let's back it up. Because I want to talk about this commercial real estate meltdown.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay.
Because we're all hearing it. We're seeing it in the headlines. And I know that the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank played a big part into that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these smaller banks that are the financiers of commercial real estate were heavily invested in T-notes.
Yeah.
And so that it did not age well.
No, it didn't.
So who wants to give a little bit of a more context to that?
You go for it, Jay.
I know we're all looking
Whoa.
at you. We're looking at you. We're like,
Well, Jay's
Go, Jason.
he studies a lot of finance stuff. Those of you
I
that
don't
don't
know
know,
anything about
Jay is
commercial.
a brilliant financial mind.
Yes, I'm so brilliant.
okay, well,
Well, we have a commercial agent here, and he doesn't seem there's not much commercial available. It's hard to find commercial. space,
They're
so-
building like
I mean, that's
crazy actually
Arizona,
here
so
too.
It's they're talking about national, but
right.
New York City I think is probably a little bit in trouble or
I think that
Dilapidated.
they're really talking about office space in
Yeah.
general, and what's happening is there's more money. I don't know the figure off the top of my head, but the amount of money that is coming due in office
Yes.
space loans, it's maturing over the next few years. And as it matures, what they're saying is that there won't be new lenders for these notes.
so they won't be able to refi them.
Exactly.
Yes, and then they're just stuck with them, and then the bank has an option to either continue to lend to them or foreclose them and take the property. But
Yeah,
then-
they can do a
then what do they do with the
loan
property?
modification.
then they have to deal with it.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to see more. I think we're going to see modifications, right? Some performance is better than none, and a lot of these people they will.
But if they
right?
can't,
if they can't, then
then the bank goes under, right?
yep.
I think
and
that's
then
the
and then where
concern.
does the property go?
That's the concern.
Then what happens to the property? They just get it for free.
No.
It's like, oh, sorry, bank went under.
Yeah.
You get the commercial building for free.
Oh, was that an option in Monopoly? Was that like a card you would
Yeah.
draw? Like,
Yeah.
oh, bank went under. You get to keep your property.
Well, I've seen some things where they're going to like repurpose a lot of space, right? Like I know that obviously industrial is actually been on the climb for a lot of stuff. And that's what I see a lot of space, again, just speaking hyper local here in the East Valley where we're at.
But office space, you can't change.
You can't,
industrial.
you can't retail. True.
Can't go up.
Yeah.
You can only go, or you can't go down. You can only go up.
So is this
zoning.
because a lot of people are working from home, and this is
So work, yes, remote work, the reshuffling of America,
Yes.
and people moving out of cities like San Francisco and moving into other cities where it's more affordable because they're able to work remotely.
yeah.
And so I think that
Less crime too. San Francisco's been having massive problems with crime. Every day I hear something crazy going on there.
crime, drugs, homelessness,
Yep.
it's really sad because it's just an incredibly amazing city. It's so sad.
It is. It's so cool.
So no doubt there's definitely some red flags in the commercial market that are ahead. So
How would that affect the residential?
yes, that's
Yeah.
the pivot. So Musk says, hey, housing is next.
So because of banks, why does commercial affect residential?
I think
guess
that his
don't know.
sentiment is that the housing market is just overvalued in general. And you could look at the data and you could say that, yeah, we're at all-time highs.
Yeah.
And then you read about, for instance, investors dumping thousands of houses. So Starwood Capital is selling off 2,000 homes. Interestingly enough, they acquired
2,000.
them from Pretium Partners back in 2021. And now they're saying that these homes are underperforming because rents have come down. And now that the homes are underperforming, they're going to sell them and I guess, stock up their balance sheet so that they can acquire homes down the line. But hey, the reality is we've never had this low of inventory. I think
know.
there was a Redfin article that said, I'm trying to pull it up so I don't
I mean, the
misquote
market
it.
would absorb
Yeah, bring 'em
2,000
on.
houses like nothing.
Exactly. So when you hear the headline that investors are dumping thousands of homes, it's not doom and gloom. It's actually
Yeah,
good
good.
news. We need the
Good.
houses on the market.
Yeah, 2,000 homes ain't crap.
Yeah, there were fewer homes for sale in May than any other month on record.
And the inventory continues to be low, which is why you're seeing prices actually still increase in most major metropolitans. I realize that some people say, oh, it's starting to be more balanced, et cetera. Well, if the house is worth a darn, it's gone in days.
And that's at a 7% interest rate. I mean, or
No.
close to a 7% interest
So
rate.
the story is supply and demand.
Yes.
There's
As
not
always.
much supply, and there's enough demand to eat up that supply.
At this point,
So-
yes, it appears so.
What would lower the demand? Higher interest rates, even higher.
Which, the Fed did come out and they didn't raise in
They
June,
didn't
but
raise.
they
They
basically
threatened.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
but
they said that it's going to happen, but
I think
there's
we're
a lot of people that say it's not.
Yeah, I
They're
think
just,
we're
they're
so
just
far.
trying to calm down the markets and
Mm-hmm.
suppress them a little bit. But who knows?
Beat it back for a minute. I think the inventory is so low that, I mean, regardless of but heck, interest rates, I mean, I realize houses were a lot different at one point in time, but interest rates were so high at one point in time that people will still find a way to do it. They obviously just won't be able to get the house that they want, even though the cost of capital is there. People are going to have to relocate, period. People are going to have to move up. People are going to have to move down. That's just, there's 350 million Americans at this particular point, and the amount of need to move is still there. Right?
Yeah.
Like, dang it, I wish I remember the stats because I recently read this just within days of why people sold in 2022. And like 10% of it was to access their equity. Only 10%.
So there's two reasons. It's a want to move and a need to move.
Yes.
Or have to move. So there's a lot of people that want to move,
Yeah. And
But-
maybe that gets removed.
but financially it just doesn't make any sense for them to
Yep.
move into a $50,000-$75,000 house that's more expensive than their house, and get rid of their 3% interest rate to go to a 7 or a 6.5.
Unless they can keep that existing home and turn it into a rental.
That's right,
And they don't
they
need
get
the
the
capital
higher
out, so-
rental price, and then they use that
Exactly.
that extra rental price to subsidize the new mortgage.
Exactly.
But
Right.
a lot of times they don't have the down payment though. The down payment's stuck on the house.
Yep. That
True,
could be-
very true. So that could be those could be like interesting creative
Exacerbating
financing
the
opportunities.
issue.
the inventory.
Mm-hmm. The inventory
So,
issue.
so as realtors, we need to be advising people of their different options and strategies so that they can have the liquidity that they need if they need it. And also so that they can do some of these things like turn their existing home into a rental. So you got to really be on your game. You have to be able to advise on strategies. I mean, you should be making video content on like, hey, if you're going to turn your primary residence into a rental and you're going to buy your next home and move into it, what steps should you take, right? You should open an LLC. You should put that home in an LLC. You need to register it with the city. You need to make sure that you have an EIN number if you need to. If you have to pay TPT taxes, you should apply for your license. You should, all of the steps that it would take to turn that property into a rental. I mean, agents should be advising people on these sort of strategies so that we can have some liquidity.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say, riches are in the niches, and they should double down on educating their consumers.
Absolutely.
Well,
Their audience.
Let's talk about the next 9 to 12 months when the Fed cuts rates.
Well, you are one of the few that thinks that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I think
Coming
anyone,
into
it'd be
an
stupid
election
to think
year.
that the Fed's not going to ever cut rates again. They're going to cut rates.
Yep.
In 9 to 12 months.
I mean, I think so.
I think last year we were, last year at this time, just like thinking back, it was when the Fed had raised for like the third consecutive time, sitting about now. And we were talking about how they were going to start lowering around December.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and that didn't age well.
there's people out there that are screaming deflation right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard much of that.
I mean,
Really?
the numbers aren't indicating deflation.
There's people yelling that deflation's coming.
Well,
Inflation's already in motion.
and sometimes there's these fringe arguments, right, that maybe lean more on conspiracy than factual and data.
Well, and we're also coming into an election year. All the stumping
Kathy
and everything is
Wood
about to start.
with ARC Investments talks about deflation. So
Right now.
right now. Yeah.
She thinks we're in deflationary conditions
We're
right
in
now.
deflationary conditions right now.
Wow.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I guess, like I said, I mean, more times than not, if you go back and look on election years, there's always usually a balance or being able to do something to where they're trying to create economic hope in that party's trying to create that controls the office is going to try to create economic hope so that they can maintain ownership of the office.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why things could, like, I'm with you that
This might be a different cycle though, for sure.
Well, I think that,
well,
okay,
the last couple have been. So
rates go down, we're going to see pandemonium, right?
We're going to see a lot of people, jumping into the housing market a lot more.
Right.
So will that throw on a ton of freaking inventory and then that will bring prices down?
No, I don't think so, because I believe that if rates ease up and those homeowners with the golden handcuffs, as we call them, are now able to move because it makes more financial sense, they're probably just going to be bouncing into something else.
Yeah. They're going to move into
So
the next house.
Inventory will go up, but transaction count will go up as well, because I think that's the thing. You look at transaction count, we're tracking at about what was predicted for the year, about 4.3 million units. And
Which is abysmal.
Exactly. It's really low.
yes,
Yeah, because what was last year?
It's so low.
We're at like 5 something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is it, with inventory as low as it is, I mean, it's, I don't want to say it's going to be okay, but I think it's just the pressure is going to continually be there. You're going to see prices are there. But I also think that that's where this is, to me, one of those moments in time. And so let's face it, the people that we're talking to that are watching our show week after week are the practitioners, are the people that are trying to sharpen their saw, double down on their skills. And so to me, I love markets like this because there's all in these times, this is when you thrive. Right? This is when all of the people that are not everyday practitioners jump out and start looking for other things, and they're having to go do whatever that side hustle is. For us, that dilutes the market in good times. And now we can double down, educate them, take strategies like Haley was just talking about, putting the camera in face so that you're scaling your message out, and focus on a niche of a problem that you're solving in the marketplace. It's not overly complex.
Like cash offers.
It is not overly complex, but few are willing to put in the work and exercise
It is hustle.
that hustle muscle.
That's right. Cost you hustle muscle. Bottom line.
Well, hey, thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and if you're on YouTube, click that notification bell so you get notified of our new episodes.